What is a quality assurance and improvement program? How the internal and external assessments are conducted? How these assessments help in an effective internal audit activity? And how conformance and non-conformance with the standards is disclosed? Let's have a review of standard 1300 and other relevant standards to get answers to all these questions. To implement standard 1300, the chief audit executive must consider the requirements related to its essential components. Let's see what other standards are relevant to standard 1300 and what we will be covering in these videos of quality assurance and improvement programs. Number one is standard 1300, which is about the quality assurance and improvement program. 1310 is about requirements of QAIP. 1311 is internal assessment and 12 is external assessment. 1320 is about reporting of the quality assurance and improvement program. 1321 is the use of conformance with the standard and how the conformance will be disclosed. And the non-conformance disclosure is in 1322. Standard 1300 provides the main requirement of quality assurance and improvement program. It is part of the mandatory guidance of IPPF, a very important standard and part of the attribute standards. As per the mandatory requirement defined in the standard 1300, the IIA requires the chief audit executives to develop and maintain a quality assurance and improvement program. So, this is the basic requirement and the mandatory requirement of IIA. This quality assurance and improvement program should cover all aspects of the internal audit activity. If you see the implementation guide relevant to this standard, it guides us that the quality assurance and improvement program should encompass the operating and activities and of the internal audit, how to manage the internal audit activity, including the consulting engagements. So, it covers all those aspects of the internal audit activity. So, standard 1300 further explains via interpretation about what the quality assurance improvement program evaluates and assesses. So, it evaluates, this is how it is designed actually, that this does an evaluation of the internal audit activities conformance with the standards. It evaluates how internal auditors are applying the code of ethics and whether they are applying or not, as well as the quality assurance and improvement program assesses the efficiency and effectiveness of internal audit activity and identifies the opportunities of improvements, and chief audit executive should encourage board oversight in the quality assurance and improvement program. Stakeholders engagement. As per implementation guide, the chief audit executive must have a thorough understanding of the mandatory elements of the IPPF, particularly standards and code of ethics. Generally, the chief audit executive meets with the board to gain an understanding of the expectations for internal audit activity, to discuss the importance of the standards, to discuss the importance of quality assurance and improvement program, and to encourage the board's participation and support for these. Here an important point is that internal audit activity should not need to assess whether each individual engagement is conforming with the standard. Rather, engagements overall should be undertaken in accordance with an established methodology which promotes quality by default conformance with the standards. So, hope you understand this point. And additionally, the methodology which generally promotes continuous improvement of the internal audit activity. The quality assurance and improvement program includes the internal audit activities, efficiency and effectiveness. So, that assessment is very important because that help to identify opportunities for improvement. Standard 1310 communicates the requirements of quality assurance and improvement program. It simply says that the internal and external assessments are part of the quality assurance and improvement program. Now, if we look at the sections which we are going to cover, this is the major area like 1311, which is internal assessment, 1312 external assessment, which we are going to discuss in more details. But if you see that chief audit executives should be aware of these requirements. Internal assessment is a rigorous continuous process. It is continuous supervision. It is testing of the internal audit and consulting work which the internal audit activities performing. It is periodical validations of conformance with the standards and the application of the code of ethics by the internal auditor. When we look at the external assessment, it provides an opportunity for an independent assessor or assessment team to conduct as an internal audit to conduct a conformance exercise, a check on how they are conforming with the standards and identify the areas of improvement, as well as check if the internal auditors are aware of the code of ethics and they are applying it. The quality assurance and improvement program also includes an ongoing measurement techniques or implementing measurement techniques ongoing basis to understand how progress is being is going on. For example, the performance matrix should be there. There could be the delivery of the internal audit plan. It could be the quality of findings which we are reporting and the response from the management, what is the client feedback, the acceptance of recommendations, for example, the appreciation of the client on some of the findings or recommendations, customer satisfaction. These all are very important points which normally if you see internal auditors or internal audit departments, they do not consider because when we are delivering some services to a client, and if client is not satisfied, you need to understand those areas like what you have done wrong and you need to do it differently to reach to that customer satisfaction. Again, here I am not talking about that sort of satisfaction which is affected by the independence. So, without affecting and hampering your independence and objectivity, you have to deliver that customer satisfaction. Typically, the chief auditor should be aware of the prior results of both the internal and external assessments which were conducted and what areas of improvement are there within the internal audit activity, and Chief Audit Executive should be having an implementation plan, an action plan on how like these improvement areas he will be working, and that should be part of the quality assurance and improvement program. Standard 1311, internal assessment, a very important standard. What's the purpose? What does it deliver? Ask these basic questions from yourself, because this will improve your understandings of the basics. Internal assessment evaluates the internal audit activities conformance with the mandatory elements of IPPF. Number one, it evaluates the quality and supervision of audit work performed. It evaluates the adequacy of the internal audit policies and procedures, the value it adds to the organization, and establishment and achievement of KPIs. Standard 1311 is of prime importance. As a chief audit executive, you need to have a well thought out structure of internal assessment, because this is the structure which will provide you your conformance evidence, and then this internal assessment structure will be useful for a successfully concluded and executed external assessment. So, that's why this is very important. The internal assessment as per standard must include an ongoing monitoring, and what is the ongoing monitoring is about is regarding the performance of the internal audit activity. And number two is periodic self-assessment. Periodic self-assessment is an internal periodic assessment conducted by other persons within the organizations, but having a sufficient knowledge of internal audit practices. Let's look into the interpretation of Standard 1311, which further explains that the ongoing monitoring is an integral part of the day-to-day supervision, review, and measurement of the internal audit activity. The ongoing monitoring is incorporated or embedded into the routine policies and procedures used to manage the internal audit activity and the processes, tools, the information considered necessary to evaluate conformance with the standards and the code of ethics. There is an implementation guide which further explains like what comes in this area, and the ongoing monitoring, how it is achieved primarily through continuous activities. For example, engagement planning and supervision, standardized work practices, work paper procedures and sign-offs, report reviews, as well as identification of any weaknesses or areas in need of improvement and action. Ongoing monitoring helps the chief audit executive determine whether internal audit processes are delivering quality on an engagement by engagement basis. Engagement supervision is the fundamental element of any quality assurance and improvement program. We will discuss further details at the engagement level when we will review the implementation guide 2340. Periodic self-assessments. These assessments have a completely different focus than the ongoing monitoring. They generally provide more holistic, comprehensive review of the standards and the internal audit activity. Periodic assessments are conducted to evaluate conformance with the code of ethics and the standards. As we know that this is an internal periodic assessment by other persons within the organizations who are having sufficient knowledge of the internal audit practices. So, how sufficient knowledge is defined? It is an understanding of all elements of the IPPF. This is the basic requirement if someone is having sufficient knowledge of internal audit practices. As per implementation guide, the periodic assessments are conducted to validate that ongoing monitoring is operating effectively and to assess whether the internal audit activity is in conformance with the standards and whether internal audit activity, internal auditors apply the code of ethics. Through conformance with the standards and code of ethics, the internal audit activity also achieves alignment with the definition of internal auditing and the core principles of the professional practice of internal auditing. So, here we conclude our part 1 of the quality assurance and improvement program video. In the next video, we will learn the external assessment, we will see the usage of conformance, and we will see the disclosures of the non-conformance and some other details. So, keep watching, subscribe my channel, and looking forward for the next video.